This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Wednesday, September 2nd, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So definitely a brighter pre-market than we've seen all week. It is Wednesday, the middle of the week, which is technically not one of our best days, but so far best pre-market that we've had. Of September, being 2 days. But first thing going to be on my list is DKNG. So as we were pushing up this morning, we got some really good volume. There was some decent buying that was up there, but the biggest prints that I've seen so far are at this 4150 point. We had bids that basically ranged 4150, 4155, 4150, and that's really where I saw the biggest burst that came in, and that was on that sell side. Now, one thing to look at too is that when it popped up on the pull up from there, really weak buying at that 42 level. Only 2 prints that came in, 3 prints before that, but there was way more. The orders are just too thick. There was way more out there if they wanted to go out and buy more. So definitely going to be looking for that 4150 to be satisfied. But one thing you do want to keep in mind is that overall, this is actually still building a bullish flag. So we are getting buying. We do have some decent buying at those highs. Now, one problem was it was parabolic, so you're not going to see as many of those bigger prints coming in. But I'm going to be expecting that 4150 to make their money first before we're going to have that expectation of being able to break back up above that 42. 4250 had some decent buying, 43 okay, and then to near, as we were coming up to the 44, you could see it kind of sold off to bring it back down. So, but overall, definitely has the ability to continue up. But like I said, the biggest prints I've seen so far are those sellings that came in at 4150. Next thing looking at is Shell, SHLL. So I know it doesn't look pretty at all right now, but on average, you can see it moves $2.42. We had a really nice move that came in after the pre-market. It looks like some type of, it made a really nice push into the close and then continued on its way up from that pre-market. The only thing is that I haven't seen any buying that really shows us this thing is going to be able to continue. You can see since pretty much 7:30, just not really much there. More selling than anything on the bigger prints. Now, obviously, the orders are very thin, so getting bigger prints isn't going to be an easy thing. But overall, if we don't get that buying to start coming in and give us that show of hand, we're going to see this thing come back down a pretty substantial amount. Obviously, 50, very hard level to hold, especially without having any type of buying coming in above it. So needs a better show of hand, but overall, if it stays like this and we don't see that new buying, we're going to be looking for it to go back towards that downside. Next thing is FEAC. So my biggest concern with this morning is you can see on average it trades about 404,000 shares. Today we already have 3.9 million. So as you can see, it's trading very consolidated. But it did just make that nice move to kind of break out because we had the buying that kept coming in above that 12 level to show us that shorter term. The only thing, again, is that at 13, very weak. I didn't see anything there that really shows us that's better. Okay, so I like this. Okay, second time coming back up, a little bit slower. Orders were a little bit bigger, so now they came in at that 13 level. Going to be expecting a pullback, not a huge pullback because it just has not shown that, and its range just does not show its ability to be able to do that. And then we're going to be looking for us to continue up above that 13 level. Guess. So I had a big problem with this one. The problem with this is that a stock like that, especially when it was up here around that 15 level, it's very hard to get in and out of during the pre-market with any type of substance, within your shares. But one of the things that we saw is there was no buying at all coming into this move, and really no volume at all until we got all the way up here. So this was a nice, easy short coming down, but unfortunately just couldn't really trade it because of the fact that there's just, it's not easy. There's just not a lot of trading going on, so it's not easy to actually get executed. So on this down move, we haven't really seen much selling yet. So we really haven't seen much buying. We haven't really seen much selling. But the fact that there's no buying came up on absolutely no volume. I'm going to be looking for this to go back towards that downside. I want to start to see some selling coming in because we have a lot of room to come back to where it came from. Also, you don't have to request shares because it is shortable. SDC. So this is another one where it's kind of iffy. I don't like the way that the volume has been trading, but overall it does have some potential. You can see these buying that came in at that 840 level, 785, which obviously we're pretty far from. But I have been seeing some nice bursts of buying coming in a little bit now. That's sitting up at like 850 area. So it's got potential. Definitely has potential to, at a minimum, pretty much hit 876. I can't really go much higher than that yet because I just haven't seen enough to really tell us that we're going to be able to break more than 25 cents coming into it. So we're going to have to look for a few more prints coming in, but definitely, like I said, obviously being on the side list, it does have that potential. AMC looking at next. This is another one that's not a huge mover whatsoever, and I'm not the biggest fan of the way it prints because it does get very, very mixed. But above that 7 level, around the 720s, we do have some decent buying. So it definitely has the ability to be able to trigger back up to this double top. And then obviously 725 would tell us, pretty much everything else that we'd be looking for. But you can see the selling that came in and the reaction afterwards. Wouldn't be expecting it to be a very long trade, but this person's definitely got to make their money. And then obviously, selling doesn't mean as much to me on a cheaper stock like this because I know people are going to be selling. It's up basically $1 right now, 99 cents. So overall, it's once again, it's got the potential, definitely a side list stock, but it's not looking terrible whatsoever. Now, a few special mentions. First was going to be WMT. All right, so WMT, and it's already kind of happening, but if you look at the prints, I haven't seen anything that warrants this thing being above 150. We talked about this a lot in Traders Exchange, looking for that down movement to come back in, and the fact that there was nothing that was holding this up above made for a really high percentage for this to come falling down. Now 150, obviously we want to see something come in to really give us those controlling spots, but from what we saw yesterday and what we're seeing this morning, I'm going to be looking bearish. Even though it looks perfect, we've hit the top of the measured move. All the pullbacks that we did not get from yesterday, the variables are telling us that we have a real nice opportunity for a short back towards that downside. And then also RKT, going to be watching this one very closely. I don't know if it's going to let me show the prints, but yes, it is. So we come over here. You can see above that 33 level, really love these prints right here. So started off about 33.10. You can see just throughout the entire, basically 844, really, really nice prints. And they were scattered, which tells us that it's not easy to get shares. And this person really, really wanted to get shares. And then the reaction following up on that is just even more buying around that 33.20 area. So someone really, really likes it here. All right, now we're getting some prints coming in at the 33.50. So going to have to expect, because it was mostly obvious buying coming in, going to have to expect a pullback. But from that pullback, going to be looking for a nice move back towards that upside based off the buying that we have coming into it. So looking pretty good overall, for the story that we have based off what it's shown so far. I'd like to see a little bit more coming in at 350, but remember, if it's got to pull back, not going to be expecting as much buying at the highs because they'll be able to build a lot more as it comes towards that downside. All right, now anything else out there that I missed? I mean, there's a few other things, but that I just wasn't really CRWD. Yeah, unfortunately right now, definitely yesterday, but I don't see anything that's really there. Maybe AMRN, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. That just started after 9 as we're talking. Let's see what we have on our print levels. Do we get anything at 6? No, it's the only problem. Not really any type of selling at 6. 590 wasn't terrible, but it wasn't something that really jumps out, especially on this cheap of a stock. But definitely we'll put on our list because something just happened. Some type of news catalyst just came into that. And what do you mean? Can we speak of at FEAC again? Like, what about it? You want to see the chart? FEAC. Can we peak? Oh, can we peak? I'm sorry. I was like, I just explained it. Absolutely, here it is. Do you need to see any specific prints? 13, very, very big. Okay, and then obviously the the reaction that we're seeing coming in has been some pretty decent buying over that 13. Okay, perfect. All right, guys, so let's get ready for our morning group trade evaluation at 12:30. I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.